Hello and welcome to the Edupedia world. So we were studying applets in our previous video. In this video, we'll continue studying applet from the place where we have left. From here on, we'll study some other useful methods in the applet class. So one of our important method is system.out.println. This is actually printing string s. So if you see, it works on applet viewer and not from the browser. So whatever you write in this will actually get printed in applet viewer but not in browser. After that, we are having, it says automatically opens an output window. After that, we are having a method show status. Now show status is taking string as argument. It displays the string in the applet status line. Each call overrides the previous call. You have to allow time to read the line. So, whatever you write, it will override the previous call and it will display the string in the applet status line. So, it will display the status of the applet. Okay, and you can override it by calling show status. Fine. Now, applets are not magic. What do you mean by that? That means anything you do in an applet, you can do it in an application as well. Applet is just a form of a small Java program that can do your task in a simple browser window. So usually, it's not created for huge application, but if it's a simple functionality that you want to do, it's a simple standalone thing, then it can be achieved using an applet. Definitely, it can be replaceable by application, but it's up to the developer whether he wants to use an applet or a proper application. If I were a developer and if I have a very small and standalone functionality which is not related to, huge thing, then I would have done it in an applet. For example, creating a simple calculator or creating a simple graphical tool, so that thing can be done in an applet. Now you can do something in an application, but you cannot do in an applet. Definitely, application is meant to, carry out a huge thing. For example, a web application, a website. So that cannot be replaced by an applet because applet is a small Java program, whereas application can be huge. It can have huge web pages, a big website. Even if it's a desktop application, it could have multiple screens and multiple huge business logic written behind it, doing some functions and performing using a database. So it cannot be totally replaced by an applet. Now, if you want to access files from an applet, it must be trusted applet. Why so? Because if you are kind of accessing the files from your system, you're running in a web browser, so you should make sure that you are compliant with all the security things, and it definitely should be a trusted applet. Trusted applet definitely are beyond the scope of this course because that would be, like giving a deep dive into applet, but since it's a core Java tutorial, so this was to cover a simple applet, so that is something we have already covered. Okay, and you can go through trusted applet thing. There are good tutorials and you can even try creating your own applet. So to create your own applet, I would suggest the best recommended IDE would be NetBeans. So NetBeans is also similar to Eclipse, but it's very recommended to use if you want to create an applet because it does contain a different panel for adding different graphics and all. So I would suggest using in NetBeans if you want to make a applet application. Now, structure of an HTML page. We have already seen how to create a simple HTML when we were doing the example of trivial demo. Now let's see the structure in detail as well. So you see, when we talk about HTML, the HTML does contains head, then head contains title. After head, you write the body part, and the body part you can mention any of the content which you want to mention. Okay, so this is how a normal HTML page will look like. Now, most of the HTML tags are containers. What do you mean by container? Containers mean something that do contain something else. A head tag contains a title tag, a HTML tag contains head, body tag contains number of other tags also. So most of the HTML tags are containers. Container tag is a tag which is, written like this. There is a tag and then there's a closing tag. And between a opening and closing tag, you tend to mention or write something. Now we have like param name, array size, value 10. So you see this is again a tag. Okay. This is used to actually get parameter method of a applet class can be used to actually get the parameters of any parameter that you have defined in your HTML page. And how do you define that parameter? Using this tag param. So param is a tag and then you can mention name. Name you can mention like anything I have mentioned over there, array size, and the value I have given it as 10. Now whenever you want to retrieve this param name, which is array size, the name of the parameter is array size. Whenever you want to retrieve its value, you can do that by using the get parameter method of a applet class. Now this get parameter method takes an input which is string. So this is actually the variable name or a parameter name. In this case, it would be array size. After that, it will give you a return type which will be a value. In this case, the value returned for the array size would be 10. So this is how get parameter works. Similarly, this is a line that is showing exactly what we have told right now, how to get the value of array size. After that, you see that we are, after getting the array size, we can pass it into a integer dot pass dot int. Why so? Because the size that you are getting is actually in a form of a string, but you wanted the size to be an integer. In order to convert integer, we use integer dot pass int, convert it into a int, and finally we get it in a integer variable that is size. We have to add try catch as well because integer dot pass_int can throw an exception. If it is not a convertible type, then it will throw number format exception. So to handle that scenario, we have added a try catch block. Okay guys, this was our applet session and thank you.